Assalamu alaikum. Today on Nuran Academy, we discuss the nature of a true legacy. If you benefit, please support by subscribing and sharing as a sadaqah. So let's start with a thought that really touches every single one of us. What's left of us when our time here is up?
Just let that sink in for a moment. A time will come when nobody's asking for your opinion. No one's waiting for your reply. No one needs your permission anymore. And look, this isn't about some kind of failure. It's just the natural end of the time we've been given. It's an absolute certainty that our faith, alhamdulillah, prepares us for. And this really gets to the heart of it all. It brings us to this crucial difference, right? On one hand, you've got that very human desire to be remembered, to have your name still mentioned in the office or in the stories of your community. But on the other hand, you have the real spiritual goal, to be accepted by Allah, the Exalted. One of these will fade away, the other, it lasts for eternity. Okay, so let's talk about this fading echo. In this section, we're going to dig into the real hard limits of our presence here in this dunya, this worldly life. We spend so much of our lives trying to be needed, don't we? We work so hard to be essential at our jobs, to be that person whose input is absolutely required in meetings. We want to be right at the center of the plans and decisions of our families or communities. It's a natural drive, this need to establish our presence and feel like we're important. But this is where our faith provides such a profound shift in perspective. While the world is telling us, build a presence that lasts, Islam is guiding us to prepare for the moment that presence completely disappears. The moment we are no longer needed by anyone here, but are standing to be judged for our sincerity by the only one who has ever truly mattered. And that leads us perfectly into this idea of the illusion of presence. So how do we learn to separate that temporary, worldly kind of success from the legacy that actually benefits us in the hereafter, in the Akhirah? Think about this definition for a second. So many of us, we build things that are completely dependent on us being there. The career falls apart the day we walk out the door. Our name just fades. But an Akhirah legacy, that's something different. It's the good that keeps rippling out, the good that, in a way, truly starts its most important work after we're gone. To really understand this, let's explore it through a simple, but I think incredibly powerful story. It's the story of a life that wasn't impressive by the world's standards at all, but it was completely and utterly irreplaceable. So there was this woman, and really, she was only known to her small neighborhood. She wasn't some CEO or a famous public figure. She just taught the local children, quietly, consistently, and without ever looking for an ounce of recognition. She would cook food and make sure it got to the homes of people who were struggling, but she never, ever attached her name to it. Her charity was a secret, a profound act of sincerity, ikhlas, between her and her Creator. And her devotion? It was private. She'd stand in prayer late into the night when the rest of the world was asleep. Her deepest connection with Allah happened when there was absolutely no one around to see it. Now here's the most important part. When she passed away, the people in her community didn't remember her for being important or impressive in the way the world talks about those things. No, they felt her absence because she was so deeply beneficial. Her legacy wasn't in her name. It was in the good that she planted, the good that was now so painfully missing. Her story brings us to this incredibly sobering reality, the final accounting, the book of deeds. That moment when our story isn't ours to tell anywhere, and only our actions and our intentions are left to speak for us. Just picture that, your entire life story being read back, but you can't jump in and add context. You can't explain why you did something or try to justify a mistake. There's only the action itself and the intention that was hidden deep inside your heart. And on that day, a single act done with pure, unadulterated sincerity for the sake of Allah, subhanallah, it will outweigh a whole lifetime of deeds that were done just to impress other people. That right there is the real measure of our success. So, we have to ask ourselves this. It's a very direct and frankly, a very humbling question. If I were to just disappear tomorrow, would the good that I started keep going? Would it continue to ripple outwards? Or was it all tied to my presence, my control, my need to be recognized? And this brings us finally to the resolution, to the ultimate comfort and the ultimate goal, being answered and being remembered by Allah Jalla Jalaluhu.
This is the question that this has all been building to. When the world goes quiet, when your name is forgotten by every human being, will your book of deeds be so full of sincere, beneficial actions that they just keep answering for you? Because you see, in the end, chasing after worldly remembrance is a fleeting game. It's a losing game. The greatest, the most permanent legacy we could ever hope for is not having people remember our names down here on earth. It is having Allah the Most High remember your deeds with His favor on the day you stand utterly and completely alone before Him. That is true success. That is the legacy that never ever fades. Presented and created by Nuran Studio.